Hey there guys, it's JupponGatana coming at you. Today we're going to be talking about the Miku Navigator situation. And I wanted to wait for this video for, Miku to be fully announced and for her kit to be shown off. Just to, not do any leaks on this, essentially. Well, again, everybody knows now that Miku is indeed a Navigator. And that comes with a unique set of problems for Global. Now you may be wondering, what are these unique problems? Well, one, we've got Fuka coming down the pipeline now, which I don't know what's going to happen there with her. She's in a rough spot now. And two, we literally just got done, getting Ange all of, doesn't feel that long ago, what, a month and a half ago, pushing for her? And everybody thought that she was going to be, like a year plus super safe unit to get, which in some regards she probably still will be. In other regards, she might be like, Team B at this point. Now you may be asking, why am I saying all this? What's going on here? Well, alright. Let's go ahead and take a look at the culprit to all this, because our version is indeed unique. Our version only has 2 bosses. The third boss, I believe, was supposed to have been added quite some time ago. I don't know the exact patch. I know it was supposed to be added in, and then they were also supposed to have the scoring for that boss count at some point. Now, why exactly they haven't done this at all, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. No idea there in terms of everything. It's very confusing why we're at this point, but we only have, we have 2 bosses overall here, and with that, you have a couple of navigators. You have Ange. Ange is really good. You have Futaba, which she might be the one who gets inched out here overall, and then nobody cares about Phoebe and any of the other ones, Wind, Okeon, Puppet, that, they're irrelevant. So, I mean, as of right now, your 2 main navigators, if you're like a meta player, if you're somebody serious, is going to be Ange and Futaba. Miku's going to come in here, and one of these 2 girls is going home. I just got done, watching the stream a bit. I didn't see anything about the 3rd guild boss battle. Maybe we'll get something in the actual stream for the patch next week. If we don't, though, this creates a new set of problems. Like, is Futaba, what happens to her? What's going to happen to Fuka? Can we even unlock 100 Mindscape for Miku at some point, because she's a collab character? And, make no mistake, she's probably a one and done character. If you want to max her, you're going to want to max her now. You're not going to want to wait. But does CN get, a 100 Mindscape for her? Is that something in the cards for Miku to boost her even further? Or is that something that's completely off the table because she's a collab character? There's a lot of unknowns here. There's a lot of things that really confuse me in terms of everything. And it also feels like, and I've talked to some other high-end players on this, the burn rate for characters is pretty high in this game. I mean, as somebody who's played a lot of gachas, it feels like at times you get maybe 2 to 4 weeks with a character, and then that character's gone outside of a navigator. I mean, we pulled Futaba. It's been what, 10 months ago, 9-ish months ago, and we're still using her. We get a lot of use out of her. She's probably, out of all these characters here, she's probably the longest running use character I have in my Max Awaken pool. Chord's also up there, although even Chord's been phased out to some extent. And the twins, the twins will probably still, to this day, keep being used because of just how versatile they are. They are a Swiss Army knife. If you passed up this unit, you are a fool. these two, this little duo here, absolutely great. Super effective with an AM1. A6, of course, they just clean house. But I don't know what's the deal is going to be here, because I mean, the other thing is I don't know if we get a third SOS battle or if it just stays the 2 on there as well. That I didn't really look into. So I mean, there's just, at this point, one of those navigators is going to be relegated to just like Astrolab at this point. It's just going to be like, well, we'll just throw them in over here. Because I don't know if we get more with this here. I don't know if we get a third boss here either. Which also then brings into play, well, again, a navigator doesn't get used at all. So I'm just like, I understand the strategy to some point here. I guess they didn't want people to fall too far behind on the scoring, but even if they added in a third guild boss, I don't think it's going to change the dynamic at play of the top 10. Because even if we look in the scoring position here and we see, where most of these guilds are at, let's take a look right now. I mean, it's super early in the scoring, so where everybody's at isn't really set in stone. But these 4 here, they've stayed in the top 10. These guys dropped out last week for some reason. I think they got absorbed by Velvet, so these guys might not be here. These guys are always rank 1. We're always top 10. I have to break my neck to see these 2. These guys, I think, were top 10 a couple of times. And then these 2 are top 10. I don't think another boss is going to change anything here. I don't think another boss is going to bring a new contender in or give us that close fight, because the current situation with the top 10 right now, given kind of the collapse of these guys, which today, wow, yeah, they're sinking ship, is we now only have like 10 solid guilds. Before it was like we had 11, sometimes 12, and the 8, 9, and 10 spots would constantly change before the end. And again, the rewards aren't big, it doesn't matter too much, so I'm not sure why they haven't given us the third guild boss yet. They might have some insane reason on the back end. Maybe in play testing with the other versions, they were like 3 bosses a bit too much, and we're just going to focus on 2. Or, cynical thought here, maybe with 3 bosses, they thought people wouldn't be as compelled to buy the unit, because then you could cheese 2 other fights without the A6 or without, the featured unit, and still score well and place high in the ranks. Any of these things could be true. So I'm really curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are. I mean, is Fuka like still a big must pull for you guys? I'm even considering not going A6 on Fuka, and she's a navigator, unless maybe they do some changes to her or they change the system, because now it's like, well, if I get this character, is she going to be sidelined? Is Miku going to change things? Because there is something here. We have what's called an X factor. Now, it's kind of like the, for anybody who's Walking Dead, the twins are kind of like Daryl Dixon. Completely like the X factor here, they change things up for our version of the game. Miku is going to do the same thing here, because now we're going into these new patches coming up with an unknown navigator. How that's going to affect the landscape of things for us, it's going to be interesting. And for anybody thinking about it, I would not skip this unit. Even if you are a casual player, I would still get the A0 just to have it, because we may never see this unit again. Just grab it. The last thing you want is to have a locked character in there for the rest of the game. Now, even like the limited run characters, we'll see them at some point. But collabs in these gachas are always tricky, and they play by a different set of rules. So, yeah, we may never see the character again. We may not even get the 100 level up. Or maybe we do. Maybe CN gets it first, and and then we get it 6 months later or something. It's still, again, there's a lot of things here that make me pause and go, what's going to happen here? On the high end area, I don't know how to even advise people. It's like, outside of getting Miku, I would say, that's a big one. How far you go with her, the A2 looks pretty promising. In fact, the kit we had leaked may in fact be 100% authentic at this point. I mean, they didn't drop numbers, but we can go into that in a separate video perhaps. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts are. Has this kind of changed your pull plans? And for, some of my more casual viewers, does any of this really matter to you guys? Like, this whole, 2 bosses, 3 bosses, the navigators, does any of that, actually mean anything to you at all? Because, again, I'm looking at this from, a way different lens. I'm looking at this in terms of, hey, how is this going to affect the meta? How is this going to, affect the actual play in terms of scoring and other things on a different level here? And what's it going to do to units that a lot of us put some hard-earned money into, and now we're even seeing navigators potentially get burned out, which that's going to be that's going to be an interesting conversation when it comes. And again, just, before closing this video, next week could roll around and they could literally be like, hey, here's the 3rd guild boss because we're adding Miku in. Or they could wait until Fuka comes and they could be like, here's the 3rd guild boss because we're adding Fuka in. But I don't know. I feel like at this point, they would have added it already, right? I don't know what the strategy is. I'm very, very confused with this game. I get the marketing end of things. I get, that aspect. But I don't know. But anyway, I'm curious to hear what you guys think on all this. And if this, if this really changes anything for you. But anyway, I will catch you on the next one. Peace.